Hey everybody, welcome to my news of the day, which has now been renamed to Montreal Canadiens Odds and Ends. So we're going to look at 4 stories today. And hey, why waste any time? Let's get right into it. So one of the stories is Habs re-signed Jake Evans to a 2-year contract. Now Jake Evans was an RFA, and they didn't waste any time. I'm sure they're planning on him being their fourth line center to replace Nate Thompson. So anybody think Nate Thompson might be returning? I think signing Evans to this contract really signifies that Thompson won't be coming back. So let's get into it. Jake Evans signed a 2-year, $1.5 million contract. And he signed it like 4 days ago. I'm filming this on Monday. I think he signed it Thursday or Friday. I think Thursday, actually. So it works out to 750,000 AAV. So next season, 2020-2021, it's a two-way deal. So he'll get 700,000 in the NHL and 225,000 in the AHL. And the second year is an NHL contract. So one way, paying him 800,000. I think the cap hit's fantastic. Drafted in the 7th round in 2014, Evans went on to play for Notre Dame at the college level, so NCAA, and put up 17 points in his rookie season, 33 points, 40 points, and 42 points. So nice progression. So in his 4-year college career, that's a really nice progression to keep going up. With the Rocket in 2018-19, Evans posted 45 points in 67 games as a rookie and 38 points in 51 games before being called up last season with 13 games. Well, he played 13 games after the call-up, I guess right after Thompson was traded. And he posted 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points, and he looked comfortable there replacing Thompson. And I think he's the fourth line center at least for the immediate future. I personally can see the guy working his way up to third line, depending on what's going on here with the team. But definitely, he's our fourth line center of the future. Well, the Habs buy out Karl Alzner. That's the next item up for bids here. I get the question a lot about Karl Alzner. That's the window to buy out players started Friday, so 4 days ago. That was September 25th, and goes for 13 days. So does it pay for Montreal to buy Alzner out, and how much do they save? So that's what we'll look at. So if they buy him out now, so this season, so in this window, for the following season, so 2020-2021, it'll cost them $3.958 million against the cap. If they don't buy him out and they send him to Laval, they get about $1 million, so 3.65 approximately. So that's the difference there. So it's about, I think, 325,000, approximately $325,000 difference to the bad for Montreal this season. Now next season it goes down to 1.958 million, and then two seasons at 833,333. And the reason for that is he had 2 years. He's got 2 years left right now. So if you buy out a player, whatever the length of term they have left, you got to double that as far as years that they get paid out. But it's not like, it comes down over the ensuing years. So I guess I could write. I'm gonna go off the top of my head here. So does it pay them to buy him out? Now, last season it didn't, because if they bought him out last season, this season would have been a really big cap number. And you could say they could afford it, but then you don't know what kind of moves are going to be made and everything. But it didn't really pay for them to do that, and they didn't do that. So this season, though, it's changed. Because there's less years on it, so they don't face that. I don't remember what the reason was for them having a huge penalty the following season, which would have been 2019-20. I don't remember why, but I know it was there, and it didn't pay them to do it. But now it's different, because you have this season right now, where we don't have a ton of contracts that need to be re-signed, and you can bring in players. You got your budget. It's not a huge problem. Next season, though, 2021-22, it becomes a problem, because there's a lot of contracts to sign, and you can use every dollar you can get. So right here, it gives them a $2 million saving, almost a $2 million saving. Say $1,750,000, because there was a 325,000 difference. Math, but they save about $1.5 million, say, to be conservative, right? And next season, when you got all these players to sign, every penny is going to count. And I think it now makes sense to buy Karl Alzner out, and I kind of expect that we'll hear that pretty soon, that they did that, because I think going into next season, I'm going to say not 2 seasons from now. So the year when the expansion draft is. With all those contracts to sign, that money is really going to make sense, and I think Bergevin's going to act on that. So pretty much, my opinion, expect to see Karl Alzner bought out sometime soon. Next question up there, or next item, is could Bobby Ryan be a good addition? Bobby Ryan was bought out by the Ottawa Senators. Well, let me read it. So he's bought out by the Ottawa Senators, and would he be a good signing for Montreal? That's my headline. Ottawa bought Ryan out. He had 2 years left at $7.25 million AAV, and I believe they owed him $7.5 million in salary this season. Eugene Melnyk is cheap, so I'm not surprised, but they say they did it to open a roster spot for younger players to challenge for. Ryan was the 2020 Bill Masterton Trophy winner. It's given to the player that who, quote, best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. So the buyout gives Ryan an opportunity for a fresh start, and maybe Montreal's the right place for him for that. Ryan's 32 years old, so he's not a young kid, obviously. He's a right-shooting right winger. He can deliver, and like the potential's there to deliver, and he's done so for many seasons. Although the last few seasons in Ottawa, there was a drop off, but you got to take into account the situation that made him go to rehab. That was probably causing a lot of that drop off, and there's a good potential and possibility that some of that can come back. It's a matter of how much can he get back. Where was I? So he can deliver and has done so. Right. Okay. He could be an excellent low rent winger to help the offense. So no, he's not the star winger most fans are hoping for, obviously. But he could be a solid addition to the top 9, maybe top 6, if he can rediscover his game fully. In his career with Anaheim and Ottawa, Ryan has had some pretty good seasons. I believe his career high was 70 points, I want to say. So he's had some good seasons. He can put up 20 to 30 goals a season, and like that, if he can find his game again. So if re-energized on the right team, there's no reason to think he can't be a 20-goal, 45-point player. Again, possibly. Having been bought out, he won't be overly expensive, and in the flat cap era, that'll be important. He won't require a trade, as he is a UFA. So they bought him out, so he's a UFA. So you won't have to give back an important part. We won't have to take somebody from the team, create a hole maybe, to get Bobby Ryan. You just have to go sign him. Let's see. In his career, he has 830 games played. Oh, I forgot to put this. It's a bit of a boom or bust risk. Obviously, it's a bit of a boom or bust risk, but if it's boom, it's a home run. If he gives you a boom season and bounces back at least a good part of the way back to where he could be, that's a bit of a home run right there. In his career, he's played 833 games, 254 goals, 301 assists for 555 points. And in 51 playoff games, he is 18 goals, 14 assists, 32 points. So it would seem like a perfect Marc Bergevin move. It's a risky signing that could pay off big time and at a bargain price. So I would think the Habs have talked to Ryan anyway. So it wouldn't surprise me to hear that Montreal signed Bobby Ryan sometime in the near future. And I haven't been on Twitter except for early this morning. So if there were any announcements like that happening, I missed it. So it could be that when I finish the video, I go and find, hey, they already picked up Bobby Ryan. But I would expect them to be in the running for him and be talking to him. And that's it for Bobby Ryan. Next up, what could the Habs defensive pairings look like? So what will Montreal's defensive pairings look like? Does Romanov make the team? What to do with Juleson? Because he has waivers. He can go. He can't. He doesn't have waiver clearance. He has to pass waivers to go to Laval. So what to do with Juleson, Kulak, and Mete? And I guess Willette. Do they get moved or do they stay? So these are some of the questions swirling around Montreal's defense right now. So for me, the depth chart right now with the and not going too deep. These are 10 players here. On the left, which was where we were deficient, we've got a lot of people there. Sherratt, Edmondson, Romanov, and I think Romanov eventually will be ahead of Edmondson and probably ahead of Sherratt. But in his first season, I don't think so. Kulak, Mete, Willette. On the right, you got Weber, Petrie, Juleson, who needs waivers to clear. That's why he's ahead of Fleury for me. and Fleury, who does not need waivers, and probably that'll be part of the decision whether it's Fleury to start the season or I don't know if it'll be Juleson, but we'll get into that now. If Juleson isn't 100% and ready, this could be a problem. If he has to clear waivers, he will most likely be claimed. So waiving him isn't really an option. Like if you, even though he hasn't played again in the NHL yet, I think if you waive him, he's going to get picked up. So trading him could be tricky because of that fact that he doesn't have waivers and his injury history. He hasn't played. He played one game in Laval when he came back. Nobody really knows how it's going to affect him. So that could be a problem. Fleury may have to go to Laval because they can send him there and with no repercussions, and that might be the reason Fleury goes down. It would allow Juleson to either play the third pairing or be the seventh defenseman and get in games here and there. So it's not the best thing for his age and development to sit and watch from the press box. Romanov could be sent down. That's true. Romanov has the same thing, could be sent down, no repercussions, but I don't think the Habs, that happens, unless he really underperforms. So I think if he has a bad training camp, sure, send him to Laval, let him start there, get used to the North American game there. I think if he has a decent to good training camp, he doesn't go down. I don't think they did what they did with him during the first year of his ELC just to automatically put him in the AHL. I just don't think so. I think the job in the NHL is his to lose. Where was I? So I think that Romanov lines up on the third pairing for his first year. So I think that you got Romanov here, third pairing. You can't look at that. I lost where I was. It works his way up. So that's what I said. So I think he starts here, and maybe every year, he works his way up to I think eventually, first pairing defenseman. I think that's going to be his role. So Kulak and Mete could be the third pairing guy with Mete on the right side, but I think it's more likely that one of them is traded, and I think Kulak brings back the most value. I think Brett Kulak, if you're going to trade right now, one of those two guys brings back the most value because he was playing top 4 minutes in the RTP. He was playing top 4. He's got a contract for 2 more years at $1,850,000, which is a very tradable contract. And I just think that's he's going to bring you back more value. Where Mete's kind of unknown. He still hasn't really hit his groove yet. He's an RFA, so you got to sign him. His agent is Darren Ferris, which might make that difficult. So I really think that Kulak's the more tradable guy. Plus, Mete can play on the right side, and I think that is where he's going to play with Romanov for a season. I think you keep Mete plays here. He's played the right side. Kulak hasn't, that I know of, and I think that could be one of the reasons. Now, also, Mete brings you a bit of a different look. Did I write it here? He brings you a bit of a different look. You got these 4 guys here: Sherratt, Weber, Edmondson, Petrie. Although Petrie is a good puck mover, but they're pretty similar in size and physicality and all that. You could get really caught if all your defensemen are the same and teams figure you out and it doesn't work. So you need a guy like Romanov who's going to be a puck mover, and Mete, who's a puck mover. I don't care what you want to say about him. He's a puck mover. He can skate like the wind, and he is great. He's got great numbers on, I believe it's breakouts and entries to the other zone. I think he's got great numbers there. So he gives you a different look that you need. You need some diversity in your 6 defensemen. They can't all be the same. So it's another reason why I think Mete will stay. So I do think this is how it works out. You got Sherratt and Weber. I don't think that changes. I think you got Edmondson playing with Petrie, and you got Romanov with Mete. And unless Romanov doesn't, have a great camp, or Mete gets traded, it could look different. But this is how I see it being on opening night. So I also think we'll see 1 or 2 of Kulak, Juleson, Fleury be traded in a package to get a scoring winger. I think you can use these guys that aren't, down here that aren't going to. I don't think Willett brings you much value. He's got to be resigned as an RFA. But so I'm not putting him in there. But I think Kulak, Juleson, or Fleury, I think you can get people that are interested in those guys, and you put them in a package to get your scoring winger. That could be what happens. But I do think this is the lineup for the defense on opening night. That's my opinion. That's my hot take and my bold statement. And that's it for the video. Give a thumbs up if you like the video. And while you're down there, you can leave me any comments about my bold statement. What do you think the lineup will look like, and any of these things I was talking about in the comment section. I would appreciate that. And while you're down there, if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and ring that notifications bell, and that's going to get you your daily fix of Bleu Blanc Rouge right here at Talking Habs. Thanks everybody for watching. Really appreciate that. Stay safe out there so you can get back here and watch some more of my videos. And peace out, y'all. I'll see you next video. Bye, everybody.